Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It's finally freaking Friday, and thank God I can go back home tomorrow. We got that roof finished, and I'm actually doing the walkway today. Yeah, we started digging that out last night. In fact, that's why I'm up early. My helper's leaving about 12 o'clock, and I need some more gravel to compact so that way we can get the pavers put in. Anyway, I started thinking about Mike McCarthy, who, you know, we're beginning to have the Band-Aids pulled off of the wounds right now. And this is a time when everybody's kind of pointing fingers and looking at everything as it is. I looked at something that really is shocking. It is shocking. I'm going to go through when I have a chance to sit down at my desk and really look at this. But here's what's crazy. We're averaging 74 yards running the football a game. I didn't look at all of the years, but I looked at the first 8 years of the Dallas Cowboys' existence. And back in the day, you know, you of course ran the football more, so maybe that's you know, part of the equation here. But the worst season that the Cowboys have had in the past at running the football before this year was 1960, their very first season, that they were 10-1, and they rushed for 87 yards a game. That's 13 yards more than what we're doing right now. Let me say again, the very first season when the Dallas Cowboys were an expansion team and did not win a game, they even rushed for more yards than what we do right now. I went also to the 1-15 season, the second worst season in the Cowboys' existence. That team rushed for 88 yards per carry and went 1-15, being the only victory they had was against the Washington Commanders. So Mike McCarthy, you know, now retrospectively is talking about, you know, running back by committee. Now looking back, doesn't seem to be the right approach, you know, that you really need a lead back. Now, I've said that I looked at Mike McCarthy's past when they did win the Super Bowl. They ended up having their lead back had 750 yards, and they only rushed for about 1,500 yards for the season. They weren't a great running team. But what they had was they had great receiving corps. They went 3 deep at tight end. They had Greg Jennings. They had Donald Driver. They had Jordy Nelson. They had Randall Cobb. No, they didn't have Randall Cobb. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Randall Cobb. I'm trying to remember the other veteran. But they had a plethora of receiving targets that they could play keep away. And I pointed out that, you know, hey, if the receivers work out, you might not need as much running, or the passing game will open up the run, which is another thing in itself too. The problem here is your running game is non-existent. You are literally the worst season you've ever had running the football. You're running the ball 13 yards worse than that. You don't have a single run for more than 15 yards. You don't have, CeeDee Lamb has the biggest run this season. So with that, it takes away play action. with CeeDee Lamb being the only real threat that you have at receiver and no running attack, and your offensive line being shot, you can put 4 men on the line, rush the quarterback, and get pressure on him, and still have 7 guys in coverage to cover 4 guys. Sorry, that is a recipe for disaster. The question I have here is, when they sat down, this is the thing that doesn't make sense to me. When the Cowboys sat down to plan their team and their roster and all that, right? When they sat down to do all of that, did Mike McCarthy look and say, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I want. This is what we need right here, right here. This is what we need." Hold on. Sorry, I had to pick up some cash. Got to pay for the gravel. I'm going to go get a truckload of gravel here so we get this walkway done. So my question then is, was Mike McCarthy on board and thinking, yeah, this is good. This is just what we need for running back? Was he complicit in this running back by committee and bringing Zeke Elliott back and then signing Dalvin Cook? Here, my reason is this. What it may have been is, because they've talked about there's no thought of firing Mike McCarthy and things like that. Was the real plan, Mike, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead. We're not going to add any free agents, okay? We're going to do everything on the cheap. We're going to try and clear the books. Right? And so next year we have a high draft pick. We can get rid of the dead weight. We can take the young guys and we can coach them up so they get some experience here, and then come next year with maybe a top 10 draft pick. With a top 10 draft pick, and that moves all of your picks up. That means your second round pick, if you're a top 10, could be 42 or higher, right? As opposed to 60. That you get some seasoning in for Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton. That you get some in there. Maybe you find out he needs to be the right tackle, and we're going to throw Terrence Steele off a bridge, as people said after his rookie year. You get Dak and CD, so you have your quarterback in place. You've got a playmaking wide receiver. You end up having the 4 extra comp picks, and we're not going to trade for a bunch of aging veterans with high salaries. We roll over that money into next year. Okay, we roll that money into next year with the extra money that we have with Dak and CD after getting their contracts, and we have triggers that we can actually do that. That the all-in wasn't for this season. The all-in was doing a complete rebuild and going in all next year. Because here's the thing that's crazy to me as I sit here and think about this. I said, if I'm Dak Prescott, I go to them and say, are you going to be about it, or are we just going to bullshit? I can't see that Dak would be okay. I mean, unless it's truly only about the money. Just look at this and saying, we're just going to continue to do everything the same. That we're not going to bring any free agents. We're going to just keep rehashing old guys. And I'm just going to get beat down to the point where I get Tony Romo'd and my body fails me and retire. That there must really be a hidden plan in here somewhere. That, Dak, here's what we're, that maybe, just maybe, that everybody has gotten on board with a plan of, we're just going to tell the masses, like Dan Saleo lied to me about going to the Dallas game. We're just going to tell the masses that, you know, we got the players here in-house and that we're good. We're going to take our lumps when it doesn't come true, but we're going to put ourselves in a position to do something here on out. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Okay? That, you know, when you hear, we have faith in Mike McCarthy, we're not going to fire Mike McCarthy and things, he's the right guy for the job, and yada, yada, yada. That's what we hear about that situation. That they know that this is not all on Mike McCarthy. Or maybe they've told him, we know it's not all on you, and they have plans for Bill Belichick coming in or something like that. I don't know. But there has to have been some kind, this couldn't have been this ineptitude that we are right here, where we are just, you know, literally saying there aren't players out there to get, and we see players being traded left and right that are actually helping other teams. We are sitting here knowing that the Cowboys said, nah, Derrick Henry doesn't fit what we're doing. And maybe what it is, what they're talking about doing is, we're not looking at winning this year. We're looking at trying to win going forward. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Because the alternative is, and maybe I'll try and use that, and that way in my mind I can sleep better at night. That's my hope, that maybe this is all a grand plan to be able to get cash money and draft picks at the same time to actually do something. That's the only thing that makes any sense whatsoever. Now you tell me. You can say to Dak, hey Dak, here's the plan, man. We've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, but we don't seem to be able to get over the hump. We're going to take a redshirt year. We're going to take a redshirt year. We're going to draft a couple of offensive linemen for you, and you got to say Cooper Beebe's looking like a stud, okay? We're going to clear up cap room because we got Zach Martin, we've got D-Law. You know, both of those guys are high-priced guys that you're probably looking at this being the last years. Zach Martin hasn't been what he used to be, and maybe he's finally hit the wall. D-Law, the last few years, have had injury problems and so on, and is another high-priced individual. They both have voidable years after this season. Brandon Cooks, another guy who's got a voidable year, you know, next year as well, that you look and say, we're going to get rid of those old guys right there. We get your Jalen Tolberts of the world and your Jake Fergusons, more experience on the team, and take that money, take all that money that you have, because you will actually have cap space, and try and put a team together there. Because in their mind, they might be looking and saying, right now, we don't have enough money or draft picks to get us over the hump. Yeah, we can get Derrick Henry and maybe a Devontae Adams, but that's going to be a one-shot run, and it's probably not going to be enough. It's probably not going to be enough because, you know, we also need defensive tackles and edge rushers, because Mike ain't playing, D-Law ain't playing, and their defensive line, unfortunately, is atrocious. So that may be where they've kind of sat down in private, not telling the media this, although you do hear little hints of this from like Jeff Kavanaugh and from Mike Fisher that, you know, it's a soft rebuild. Maybe it's not a soft rebuild. Maybe it's really, we're doing a complete rebuild, wink, wink, but we're going to call it a soft one. And this is the plan. And that Dak's on board with it to understand, you know, we're going to do this. The short-term pain for the long-term gain. I know that this is one of the many stages of grief that you go through. You know, you got sadness, you got anger, you got pleading, and you've got acceptance. I don't know which one this one technically is, but it's definitely some grief, and trying to find a rhyme or reason. The alternative is Jerry Jones has literally lost his mind, and out of respect, the organization is just saying, you know what, Jerry, you got your 3 Super Bowls. You're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You're 82 years old, and you built the most valuable franchise in the world, and it's okay that you do whatever you want to do with this team, even if it ends up being bad, because you deserve to go out the right way. That's the alternative. Or the alternative is Mike McCarthy looked at this roster and said, man, I can win with this roster. Bringing back Zeke, man, that's the best idea we had. I didn't want to let him go before. Bringing back Zeke. Oh, Rico, man, he's going to be like Derrick Henry. He's going to be like Derrick Henry. No, he's going to be better than Tony Pollard. And that the receiving core of, you know, Ryan Fauntleroy and Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks, man, those guys, that's like Jordan Nelson back in the day, man. That's like Donald Driver and Greg Jennings. You know, we good, man. I can't believe, I can believe Stephen Jones would say that we believe in our guys. That they would literally say, you know, we believe in our guys. That Mozzie Smith, his first year, who didn't look real good, that he's going to turn it around in one season and be a dominant defensive tackle. That they're going to get a full year out of D-Law, and he's going to be great. That teams weren't going to figure out how to stop Micah Parsons. And mind you now, Micah Parsons has 1 sack in the 3 games he played in. Not as dominant as he had been. That just getting Eric Kendricks and getting Overshown, who basically was a rookie again, that was going to solve our linebacking core. That we don't need to upgrade anything that we did from last year, and that bringing in Mike Zimmer with the new defense, taking Dan Quinn's players, what were left, that we're going to be good. That we're going to go ahead and we're going to be good as an organization. And by the way, you know, I heard so much about Mike Zimmer being this pit bull. That Mike Zimmer, you know, he's in the player's face. He's going to hold them accountable. And, you know, they're going to fear Mike Zimmer. Have you seen an outburst by Mike Zimmer on the sidelines? I'll be honest with you. You know, my defense giving up 200 yards on a regular basis, that would, if I was going to blow up, I would think that I would be blowing up at somebody for that. I'd have, if I was going to blow a gasket, I would think that would be the time that I blew a gasket. That's just me. I'm just saying. It just seems like I ain't even seen him go off like we were led to believe. So, yeah, maybe all the higher-ups are all in on this, and it's like, you know what? The worse, the better. The worst is better. But, you know, we still want to sell hope because we still want to sell them jerseys and things like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's sad. And to think that next Friday, I'll be flying to Dallas to see the Cowboys take on the Eagles. And that might just be ugly. Actually, you know what this feels like? Feels like the movie Major League. With the exception of that team had heart and they dug deep and found ways to win. Yeah. Alrighty, good people. Hope y'all having a great day. I'm gonna get this thing done. Blister just popped on my hand. Get this walkway, or at least the first bricks and stuff done on it. Shout out to Rhonda Lovely Sparks and Dirty Sanchez last night. They purchased bricks that they're getting customized that'll go in our historic Walk of Fame, and I appreciate that. We're trying to raise money to get the house put on the National Registry, and I think that would be really, really cool. And we're also making that house a place where memories live. I've got pieces of my family's history. Tracy's got some pieces of her family's history. We have some tools and things from people who have been, who've lived at the house and things and so on. I got bricks from my friend's house and Culpeper that we used to help repair the house and things. And so, yeah, the red brick house will be my legacy. It'll be my thing that people can look back at and say, there was Mark Holmes. If you want to know about Mark Holmes and his life, there it is right there. Have a good one, people. Peace.